started. Looks like Curtis is ready, and it is 6 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and call our meeting to order. Additions or deletions to the agenda? Would you entertain a motion if you want to make any changes?
Yes. Since we have a closed session and it is on the agenda, before commissioner comments and appropriations, that we move appropriations, commissioner comments, and invitation to the public to ahead of new business.
Okay.
Second.
Got a motion support. Are there any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor please say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion's carried, and we have an adjusted agenda. Roll has been taken. Is that true? Roll has been taken. Next up would be the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone would please rise and join us in the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Next, we entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the November 11, 2025 regular session of this body.
So moved.
Support. We have a motion to support. Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Thank you. Moving down to hearings. Number one, we're to hold a public hearing at 6 p.m. or soon thereafter as the agenda allows to consider an amended application for industrial facilities tax exemption certificate from Avalon and Tahoe Manufacturing Incorporated for their Building B expansion. Your pleasure to hold a hearing.
Move to open the public hearing.
Support.
Have a motion support. Any comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion's carried, and we have a public hearing open. Who's leading us? Casey. All right. Welcome.
Surprise.
Hi everyone. So we are back again. The last time you approved this project was actually in February, and Avalon really took it and ran with it, and they increased the space by including offices, quality control offices, I believe, and a break room and bathrooms for employees. So that added to the cost. So basically the project was already approved by you back in February, and now it is at just over 2 million, so the difference is 800,000. And additionally, you now have 10 overhead doors, is that correct?
Cool. Originally there were 3, and we ended up with 10.
Yes, so.
Slight change, huh?
Just a few extra.
So the scope just really greatly increased. And so really this is just an amendment of the existing application to acknowledge that higher cost due to the project scope increasing. And just a couple of other notes I'll run through that. Right now they're at about over 450 full-time equivalent employees. They pretty much expanded every year. So last year was the most recent one. This specific project will retain 100 of the jobs and create 15 new. And Frank was saying that's actually a conservative estimate, but with the quality control offices being there. And so if you approve this application, it'll just move to the State Tax Commission for final approval. But the project is done, and I don't want to say up, is it up and running? It is up and running. So, and Frank Nerschel and Jim Blick are here if you have any questions from the company.
Good. Who has the first question? You mentioned perhaps getting us a tour date.
That is correct.
We'd like to, I think there's a number of us who would like to come out and take advantage of that if you'd be willing to do that.
Mr.
So.
Blick and I, if we could arrange a date, that would be perfect.
Okay.
Casey gave Casey one 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was, every time it seems like there's more of it, which is true, because every year I tour it.
There is more of it, yeah.
But it's truly impressive once you go in there and see. I mean, it's about 30 boats a day that are being built out of there.
20 to 25.
Yeah, so.
Bring your walking shoes.
Yeah.
It's a lot of walking.
Yeah.
It should be noted, I think, that we started this process 10 years ago, Jim and I. And this is, unfortunately, this is the first year that we didn't have another project lined up. So we'll see what develops off of this. But in the last 10 years, we've added 300,000 square feet. Wow. And employment has gone up accordingly. Greatly appreciated working with the city this whole time. You've been wonderful.
Well, we appreciate the partnership and the jobs you bring and everything else that goes along with it, so.
Whoever would like to, Jim is there full-time, I'm kind of semi-retired.
Eric, we have each other's emails.
We'll get something scheduled and
Let's make it
we'll do that outside this meeting, but we do appreciate the offer.
We would like that.
Certainly would like to take advantage of it, so.
No problem.
Are there any other questions that could pertain to the project? Okay, hearing none, we'll entertain a motion. Oh, the general public, yes, I'm sorry. Are any members of the general public like to have a comment on this project? Seeing no one come forward now, we'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Support.
Got motion support, last chance for comments or questions. Okay, hearing none, all those in favor please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Hearing is closed. Next, we are considering a resolution to approve the amended application for industrial facilities tax exemption certificate from Avalon and Tahoe Manufacturing Incorporated for Building B for the Building B expansion. Ugh. Hard for me to say.
Support.
Okay, we have motion support. I think we all know what that is. Are there any questions?
Say it 5 more times real fast.
Yeah, no. Okay, I hear no questions. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried and we are granted. And good luck with the state now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays.
See you soon.
Okay, next on the agenda, we're to hold a public hearing at 6 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the agenda will allow. This is to consider an approval of a special assessment for costs associated with asbestos testing, removal, demolition of the structure, and restoration of the property at 702 Gratiot. I don't know who did the tasting of it. Apparently I did as a child.
Support.
And we have a motion support, I think I did it, but you got it, okay, thank you. Getting punchy here. Okay, so all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion's carried, we're opening the hearing.
Yes. Yep. This is 702 Gratiot Avenue. This was one of 3 of the dangerous buildings that the commission approved for demolition, and we had put out for a contract for the demolition, restoration, and of course before that happens, the testing and the asbestos lead removal has all been completed. The site is basically an open site with been hydroseeded. So at our last meeting, we set this public hearing to add those costs, of which total $25,100 as a special assessment against the property. Now, doing that, as we discussed the last meeting, this protects the city's interest in those dollars because it will stay with the property no matter what. If it does go to foreclosure, if the county, talking with the county treasurer, they would make us whole on that, and then they would have this dollar amount attached to the property as a minimum bid, or if it was ever going to move hands, that's what it would cost. If it
And that would
just
come in prior to any minimum bid being?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep,
So even
that's
if it
correct.
didn't reach a minimum bid, we're already out of it?
That's correct. That's what they said that's what they would honor, yes. Yep. Which helps us from a standpoint of when we talked about possibly putting liens on this, when we were talking about this months ago. If it does go through foreclosure, those liens get expunged by the court. So this does protect our standing with this $25,100 that the community has invested in this. Letters were sent to the 2 known addresses that we had on file, and then a notice in the Morning Sun was posted as well. We have not heard anything back from the property owner with the letter being sent, and we have not received any comments from the newspaper ad that was put in the Morning Sun as well. That's it, pretty straightforward. That's where we're at with that particular parcel.
Okay. Who has the first question? I hear none. Any members of the public like to have, speak on the subject, ask questions or comments? Seeing no one come forward, we'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Support.
We have motion support, last chance for comments or questions. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried, the hearing is closed. Next, we will consider a resolution to approve a special assessment for parcel number 29-51-344-333-00 in the amount of $25,100, which is for costs associated with asbestos testing, removal, demolition of the structure, and restoration of the property at 702 Gratiot. Your pleasure.
To adopt.
Support.
A motion support. Again, last chance for questions or comments. I hear none. All those in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed, no. And that motion is carried as well. Moving to number 3, we're to set a public hearing for Tuesday, December 23rd, 2025 at 6 p.m. or soon thereafter as the agenda allows to consider a final special assessment district number 3 of 2024 for construction of sanitary sewer service leads on the Richmond Street project. Your pleasure to set the hearing.
Move to set the hearing.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion support. Are there comments or questions? Do you want to give any background or?
This is our closing of our neighborhood street projects, the drinking water projects, and these are the sanitary sewer lines that the commission has put in place, that we don't have residents digging up the street once it's done, 2 years later or a year later, to replace their sanitary sewer lines if they happen to fail. The city kicks in 50% of the cost to do that, and the homeowner kicks in the remainder, another 50%. If you had to do this type of work, this is your best time not only from the standpoint of inconvenience, because it's an inconvenient thing to do, but the sheer costs. To open a neighborhood street in the city is about $2,700, give or take, depending how deep and
How new the street is, right?
and how new, yeah. So you're talking about just to open the street, not the cost of the contractor to come in and do the work. So it's a deal. It's a deal.
Yeah. Okay, last chance for comments or questions. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion's carried, and we have set the hearing. Number 4, we are to set a public hearing for Tuesday, December 23rd, 2025 at 6 p.m. or soon thereafter as the agenda will allow to consider a final special assessment district number 6 of 2024. This one's for construction of sanitary sewer leads on Rosedale Street.
Move to set the hearing.
Support.
We have a motion support. Same comments, questions?
Same comments.
Okay. Same way with Rosedale instead of Richmond.
That's correct.
Okay. Any comments from the board? I hear none. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. We've set that hearing. Request for purchase. Consideration of a resolution to amend Resolution 2025-0200 of August 12, 2025, which was for the approval of a request for purchase of a Ford Explorer Police Interceptor in the amount of $449,946 to correct the vendor from Todd Wenzel Chevrolet to Gorno Ford, which was a clerical error in that motion, and approve substitution of the 2026 Ford Explorer for the previously approved 2025 Ford Explorer.
Move to approve.
Support. Okay, we have a motion support. Any other background?
That's just what you said, the motion, or in the motion of the agenda there. We had the wrong.
I guess Todd Wenzel
yeah.
Chevrolet
Yeah,
doesn't
Chevrolet
sell Ford Explorers.
Anyway, they don't have any 25s to sell us, so it'll be a 26.
And they didn't raise the
They
price?
didn't raise the price. So, yeah.
I guess we can't complain too much about that. Okay, any comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried and the resolution is passed. Number 2, consideration of a resolution to approve a request for purchase to Library Design Associates in the amount of $42,875, which will be for shelving and end panels for installation of the children's book section at the Elmo Public Library, and to authorize the library director to execute any required documentation.
Move to approve. Support.
Motion support, comments?
Yeah, this is a continuation of building out the young libraries section.
So this is, because I thought we did.
Yeah, we did
So
some of
this
the.
is more.
This is more.
Okay,
Yep,
they
yep,
weren't
this is
all
more.
replaced. Okay, got it.
This is the nonfiction section.
Okay, perfect.
Yep, we're continuing on.
And this is all money that's been raised.
Yep.
There's no
Yep.
city funds that are set.
And then, of course, this is sole sourced, and the documentation in your packet of why it's sole sourced. This is the vendor that takes care of Michigan and Ohio, so there's no other vendors in the state that you can buy this stuff from. And it's like Lori said, the library director said, This is all fundraising through their book sales and private donations, so much appreciated for those folks and all the volunteers that did the work on the book sale as well.
Congratulations. I did have one question. Anybody else have questions? Does this complete the children's section, or is there more to go with this?
Yes, this will complete. I'm just thinking of our teen section. But yes, as far as metal shelving, yes, we do have some wood shelving around then in the teen section, and we would probably keep that, since that works out well in the teen section. And this will make it so that we can bring the books down to the level that the kids can all reach them at without, because some of them now are real high, and because of spacing, they aren't able to reach all of the books, and the shelves that are there, they were all very, very old shelving, and they were cut down to the size of, young people. So the edges weren't finished, and no top panels, end panels, so it's real, it will just be a really...
Classing the place up, huh?
Yes, it will be definitely a better aesthetic look, and it will be easier for the children to get to the books. It will be, I think it will be more of a draw to the children to go down to that section too.
Good, thank you. Last chance for anybody else? I hear none. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried and it is approved. Good luck with it. Thank you.
Thank you.
And congratulations on your fundraising. Apparently it was very successful again, so good work. Number 3, we are to consider a resolution to receive Fishbeck's statement of qualifications for the design and construction of wastewater treatment plant upgrades. Your pleasure.
Move to adopt. Support, whichever.
You got all kinds of adoption and support?
Also,
Okay.
all right, yeah, this is the next step in our Clean Water SRF project. We're following this is the exact same process we follow with the drinking water SRF. We do have a couple representatives here from Fishbeck here today if you have some questions about the RFQ. I did review the RFQ with David Ringel and Darren Johnson, and found it to be complete, what we're looking for, and we have been working with Fishbeck since the beginning of this phase of the project. They were our engineer that helped us our submission of the CWSRS application to the state. Back in October, we approved a proposal with them to get the pre-planning preliminaries work started, because we are in a very tight timeline. And in the newsletter, it's April 1st that we have to be actually out for bid for all the improvements that we're doing. So, and for us as the city of Alma, we were kind of put it back. It's even tighter for us because we were notified later than other communities because of how the funding came out. So we got to keep this process going as quickly as we can, so we can hit all the marks that Eagle has put before us to use this funding. So this is the next step. If you approve this tonight, Fishbeck will go to work on putting together the proposal and the cost estimates for that proposal, and that will come back to this board for your review and approval at that point.
Good. Anyone have comments or questions?
Thank you.
I hear none. All those in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed, no. That motion is carried as well. Thank you. Look forward to seeing that happen.
Yep.
Even though the funding was late, it was still welcome. Right? Okay, moving down to resolutions. We're to consider a resolution to ratify the following investments from the city funds. Before us tonight, we have 3 different investments, 1 U.S. Treasury bond and 2 CDs. Your pleasure.
Move to adopt.
Support.
The motion supported. Any comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Moving to J, reports of officers, boards, and committees. Commissioners may receive the following reports by one resolution, or any commissioner may remove any item within the section for individual discussion and vote. Before us tonight, we have the Gratiot Area Water Authority, November 14, 2025 draft meeting minutes, the Gratiot Area Water Authority for fiscal 2025 audit results, the finance report for October 2025, and the city manager's report. Your pleasure.
Move to receive 1 through 3?
Well,
Roxanne wants to talk about the water.
I mean, I think I have a couple of things I could just mention, and then Dave and Eric can correct me if I've flubbed anything up, but, so, yeah, if we could pull the
Your finance report.
finance report, yeah.
I'm sorry, not finance, I'm sorry.
No, no, no,
I went down.
Except the
You said- you were
finance
saying you're-
report.
Someone said 2, so
Yeah.
the audit results. Yeah.
See the finance
Yep.
report.
Okay.
So you want us to receive 1 and 3?
Is that your amended agenda?
I would amend to move to receive the finance report.
Did you also want to
You want-
receive the minutes and talk about the audit, or what was your plan?
Well, I just was an overview. I just had an
Why
overview.
don't we just go with 3 first, then we'll talk about those other 2 together, and then we'll do the manager
Absolutely.
report. How about
Sounds
that?
good.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, Drew, is that?
Sorry about
To move
that.
to receive the finance report.
Okay, that's
Thank
what, and then did we have support?
Yes, I support.
Okay. So, finance report is on the table. All those in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed, no. Motion's carried. Thank you. Anybody here to make a motion on 1 and 2?
Move to receive them?
Okay.
Yes, and then, yes.
And do we have support? Support. Okay, we have motion support.
Gosh, yeah.
Talk about it now. Roxanne.
It's going to be very
We make this
anticlimactic
very-
after all
very, very
this.
challenging.
This is the story of my life. Everything is way harder than
There's got to be an easier way.
please let my brain know. There were no findings with the final audit, and so I thank you to all the hard work of everyone, Bobby, everybody that works hard to make that happen, that we had a good audit, clean audit. The chemical use has stabilized. That was something that I wrote down, so it seemed important to me that things are not...
Stability is good.
Yes, yes.
Agreed.
And in January, we're going to meet to approve chemical bids. And I don't know if there was anything else that I
I defer to Eric, I wasn't there.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
That pretty much covers it. We did discuss, because budget season's coming up again when we start to plan for things. We have been following, GAWA has been increasing the cost that they charge us in St. Louis for the water by 5% very consistently over the last 5-6 years at least. And we currently have been following that underneath our plan to keep ourselves in there. One of the discussions that we will have at GAWA this year is, are we financial enough to, because that's what we're doing these 5% increases so we can plan for capital improvements later down the road. So are we saving enough money? So we're gonna take a look at that as well this year, a little bit deeper than we have, instead of just saying, yep, let's go with the 5%. Because obviously on both sides, St. Louis and here in Alma, we've been raising our, water rates and things like that. So if we're gonna take a look at those a little deeper, and if we can, if we need to only raise it 3.5%, then we'll look at doing that. But right now, it's been 5. Plan to do that, but that was a discussion we had at the last meeting, is to take a little bit deeper look at that this fiscal year. So just try to be conscious to the rates that people are paying.
Always appreciated. We like efficiencies. Are there any comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, we have a motion on the table. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried and the reports are received. Thank you. Now, city manager report.
Move to receive city manager's report.
Have motion support. Eric.
Okay, got a few.
He's in there.
Well, got a few things.
Enlighten us.
Believe it or not, we're talking about Highland Festival too, already for next year. The festival has asked if the city commission and the city be willing to act as their fiduciary for their sponsors and donations on a more permanent basis. The last 3 years, we've passed a resolution each year to help them out by doing that. But they've asked, instead of us doing it every year, which is helpful for me too, and you too, that we don't have to do it every year, that we pass a motion that it's a permanent, it automatic renews, unless, like we said here, if one side or the other would like to, step out of it, there's a 90-day clause to either or can make a written notice to the other to back out. Staff we don't have an issue with doing that. It just saves us some extra time here every year to, pass it. So, and if things do change where there's some reason not to do it, then there's a way to remove ourselves on either side from that agreement. So if you're okay with that, we'll get the resolution around and add it to next city commission meeting.
Our auditors wouldn't have any problem with making that permanent, so, okay.
Especially if you have an out, it's not forever.
It's basically just so we don't forget. And then we wouldn't have crossed that
Right.
T or dotted that I and.
Yep.
So something, not, something easy to do that is helpful long-term for the festival. Our water shut-off policies, every year in December, it's an unwritten part of our policy that we don't really shut anybody up. We don't shut anybody up during the December month. And really the reasoning behind that was, staffing levels. Sometimes by the time people get their shut-offs and they get in, they kind of pay for it, depending on where we're at from the office side of things or at the distribution side of things. They go out and shut things off or turn things on. They might not be there, so someone could be without water for, over a week or the holidays or over a week. But we have a policy, and our practice is different from our policy. So if commission is okay with how we're practicing that, right now, that in the month of December we don't, shut folks off or that sort of thing, then we probably should add that or amend our policy to include that. So it's not this year's finance department feels this way and this year's water distribution department feels this way this year, and we change that up. It should be in the policy that we can point to. So if
I
you're
like it in the policy.
yeah, okay. If you're okay with the practice, then
Yes.
we'll
Make it a policy.
Make it a policy. Okay, simple enough.
Question that comes to mind too, and you probably don't have it off the top of your head. How many shut-offs do we actually do a year? I'm just curious.
We average between 12 and 20 a month.
A month.
Seriously, that many?
Most of them are the same people that repeat every 3 months. So it's not that many different people, but about that many different shut-offs.
But it definitely indicates that there are some folks struggling. So,
Yes, it catches up.
if nothing else, we all need to certainly be aware of those things.
It does catch up quick, because, normal household with just the basic usage, you're talking, with everything, with the sewer, solid waste, trash recycling, it's about $107, $110 a month. So that adds up quick if you miss one payment, next thing you know, it's $250 and so on. So. All right, well, thanks for that. We'll bring that back to the next meeting as well. Downtown parking lots, working with the DDA, we've gone through a lot of different scenarios and options for what we can do down there. What we're trying to do is minimize our overextending ourselves financially. We were fortunate enough to get those ARPA dollars, and we invested those in our parking lots and rebuilt them and built them in a way that took care of drainage issues and all those things. Well, those funds aren't available any longer, and we still need 2 more parking lots and things to fix and take care of, so they're at least usable. They're not causing any, they're just usable and they're causing any hazards. We've gone back a couple, we have another meeting yet that we're going to do hopefully mid-December to talk about one more other possible options that we've discussed. But as we discuss these and the amount of money we have invested in the parking lots already, we do need to come up with a funding mechanism for maintenance. Now, we'll never, we've talked about this at the DDA, we'll probably never be able to come up with a large enough millage to cover actual reconstructions, but if we had something at least where at the district or whoever this is assessed across to, or how we come up with it, is paid for on an ongoing basis, then we can make, we can seal coat, crack seal, do those things that hopefully push it out push those things out 50 years as opposed to that. Or if we need to do a mill and resurface on some of the new parking lots we've done, where we could do a mill and resurface, that those are much more reasonable to do than a total reconstruction. So getting ahead of it and then paying as we go, because like we talked about with water and sewer, getting caught up and then sticking with the cost of maintaining, because it's really not fair for us to kick the cost to the next generation. Pay as you go does help with those concerns that people have, and they're valid, because we've all heard those as we've gone to water and sewer. Is well, how come we guys weren't doing this, these things earlier, or why weren't you looking at this earlier? Well, at some point you just gotta let go of the past and we start moving forward with how we should be looking at them and doing them. Just wanted to bring that to this board's attention because that will be an ongoing discussion here over the coming months as we bring back what we find the most palatable option for those that are in those blocks, and then the overall downtown of what is palatable to them for being able to, what they can afford and those sort of things. So
Are both of those two parking lots at this point in time past the quick repair?
well, it depends on what you mean by quick repair, but we are looking at what David, correct me if I'm wrong, a mill reshape and resurface, which is much cheaper than a total reconstruction, which you've seen happen in those other lots.
For both of them, Dave?
It's an option you have for both, either mill and fill, or I would call it crush and shape, where you basically pulverize it, regrade the gravel and asphalt. You're probably going to have allowances in there for extra gravel or sand, just because some of those look like they need reshaped to build up, control the slopes.
But for both parking lots?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll bring, and we're looking at all those options, because when we have the public meetings with those folks down there, here's what we looked at. We just didn't look at the most expensive option. We just didn't look at the cheapest option, but what can we afford? And then from our standpoint here, what we have to be responsible about is making sure we don't put ourselves too far out there where we're paying on something for 15, 20 years and then other things suffer.
Because it appears that what we are doing now in the city streets, the minor repairs as we go, is working and is doing a much better job than having to do a complete makeover on those streets all the time. And if that will work on the streets, if it would work on the parking lots, that would be great too, to have that same kind of a procedure where we either mill it or tar and feather it and whatever needs to be done with them. So
It'll be something like this if you had the maintenance dollars, the newer ones that have been reconstructed already. Those would be, you could do a 20, after 20 years, if you did your seal coat or your crack seal, 20 years later, you could do a 2-inch mill and then resurface it. It would be a brand new.
There wouldn't be a crater sign.
yeah,
What we have here right now with the two that are left, when we do what Dave mentioned there, what we've been, told what will happen is you'll start to see reflective cracks because it's not been, just totally rebuilt underneath of it. But when you're talking about the cost of doing it right, costing $1.5 million, 1.7 million, as opposed to maybe
Plus financing costs.
plus
Got us pushed it over, well over 2 million.
Yep. So or do you look at, $500,000, mill resurface type thing, or like Dave said, add some quantities in to shape those things so you're not having those areas where you hold some water and stuff that. But anyway, we're looking at those options so we can go from A to C and just, that's what's all there. But we wanted to bring this in front of this board because obviously this is where it ultimately comes to and your decisions but we're trying to help as much as we can on the DDA side, and we'll have some public meetings with those groups and those blocks, and then overall meetings with the downtown, and I'm sure general public as well, like we did with the trees and things like that. So, any questions? Okay, all right. We already talked about the clean water SRF items. In water distribution, as part of our drinking water SRF funding, we had a line item in there that's in there to help us out with 3 different times of using what's called a line stop process. And we used it for the first time on a project that was happening on Republic Avenue in the southeast side of the community, where, for lack of a better word, they shut the main off where they can, open up the main itself, put in a bladder, fill that up so like a balloon type thing, and then turn those areas back on that they can. And then make sure it's watertight. And what this does for us here is not everywhere you go has a shut-off valve, or in some cases, a shut-off valve that actually is usable. Some of these valves are
It shuts.
Yes, that shuts all the way or opens all the way once you get it shut. Like Dave's mentioned to me, it's like sometimes, you might get it all the way shut, but when you start to open it back up, you can only get it back open so far, but then you're stuck. And then you gotta go back to the next available one to shut it off, and you might shut off a whole in a quarter of town to make that fix. So as you can see from the pictures there, what they were able to do is use this technique and go back in and drop in, the next pictures down show you where they're dropping in that new shut-off valve into the piece. Doesn't look like much, but that means everything in the world will be able to shut off, that water at that particular location that doesn't shut off, quarter down of the community, and potentially, like it's mentioned in there, they could shut off some of these 6 to 8 hours or longer, depending on what might be happening. The reason we never used this before, it is a costly procedure to use, and this was factored into our drinking water SRF funds. So we have it in there for use of 3 different times. This is the first time we've used it. I think there's a plan here soon to use it again, Dave, or not quite yet?
Considering it, we're using it right now, it's kind of triage as needed. This was a needed one, identifying some areas where it might be useful if we don't have to use it coming up. And what we're looking at is where we have these water service lines to reconnect. There's mains that have to be shut off as a result of it. Instead of shutting off 2 or 3 blocks for an isolated area, this is one where you can isolate it exactly where you're at on that stretch of street. So none that are immediate that we know of, but before this runs out next August, we'll have places to use this again.
So it's a temporary shut. Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
And it just does it in a safe way.
Right,
So like,
yes.
some of these, like Dave said to me, I didn't really think about it because when we go to shut it off, open it back up and it just stops, you really don't know if it's open all the way. So it can cause flow issues and then a whole bunch of other things start to unfold. So it's kind of an unexpected positive that's come out, again, out of the drinking water SRF, that this technique is about 10 grand per use, Dave. Yeah. So it's nothing, it's not cheap to do, but in some cases, when you start to look at what you might have to shut down, or what you're servicing, say the hospital, the college, Masonic, where you can't necessarily shut something down, this might be a viable, option that you could use to do some work that you need to have happen. So we just thought that was kind of neat, and they took good pictures of what was going on there, so we thought we'd let you know what the drinking water SRF is helping with, other than just those things that we've talked about already.
So, question, is this work being done by our staff? Or is this a contractor comes in and does this for us? And do we own that piece of equipment, or is it rented?
Good questions.
So,
Dave Ringel, Public Services Director. No, this is not something that we own. What we did was hired a company. If you go back to that previous slide that you saw where the machine was sticking vertically out of the main, there's a company that we hired to do that. They're out of the southeast portion of Michigan. When I talked to the gentleman who installs that, they work all around Michigan as well as the United States to do this. So something you have to schedule out to have them come in to do. But the actual machine that is that blue device that's sticking out of the water main. And that company, there's a gentleman, well, this one is a person that comes in, cuts a hole in the top of the main, installs that while it's live. So no water mains were shut down as a part of this. So.
It's a really useful tool, because we just had a fix that we had to do in Northtown, and where we had to shut it off, we had to shut off a substantial amount of, all the apartments and condos and all that. We let them know, you have to give them at least 72 hours notice, which we did, but it's very much an inconvenience. So if there's ways to do these things, I thought it was kind of cool. They mentioned it to me too.
No, it is. If anybody's bored, I can bore you for Thanksgiving conversation on Thursday.
we appreciate that. We'll keep that in mind.
No, but it is very good. Like I said, Eric mentioned there's one that we're looking at, but if there's not any uses for this, for the water service line connections or street projects related, there's one, and if not, there's definitely more places we can use this at. And as we start turning valves downtown, flushing hydrants, we're gonna start this winter, next spring, we will break valves, and this is something it's nice to know in the back of your head of the technology that works, because as Eric had mentioned, there's an area of town, like we go Northtown, where we have to shut down the dialysis area, and there's several businesses up in there to shut down. This would be something that we want to look at utilizing to maybe put another valve up there, so we don't have to take as many customers offline to do shutdowns. So, and not affect them while we're doing it.
Thank you. So those things were done way back, where you just don't do this quickly as possible. I'll say it that way. Yep, on a budget, and now we got to go back and then fix them, because there's consequences if you don't have it. some great positive news, employee recognition. Pleased to let everyone know that our city assessor, Kathy Rosen, was honored at the Michigan Assessors Association with the Stronger Together Recognition Award, which is provided to individuals who support the assessing community by assisting and advising others on procedures, software, forms, policy, and general knowledge in the assessing world. And this was given out at their October annual conference. And I did put a copy of the certificate in the packet, and on the back of it was what I believe, from what I was told, was what they read to the group about Kathy's service to the assessing community across Michigan. So,
Proud of Kathy.
So just wanted to provide that knowledge to everyone. And then just some updated construction photos out of the transit expansion. According to the contractor, this is Tuesday, so it was last Thursday we had our meeting. They stated that on December 2nd we'll start to see steel go up from the concrete pylons, and they should have it all enclosed before Christmas. And they're estimating at this point that there'll be about February finish. Everything will be finished, ready to hand over the keys for access. So they're moving right along out there. And if talking about tours, if you would like to walk through this, just let us know, and we'll get you a hard hat, and you can walk around and take a look at some things out there. So lots of dirt moving. And that is all.
Okay. Anybody have questions or comments? Okay, we have a motion on the table. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried, and the city manager's report is received. We moved the appropriations and commissioner comments up, so we'll do that before we go into our closed session. Appropriations. Any interest in paying the bills tonight?
So moved.
Support.
Motion support. Any comments or questions? I hear none. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried, and the appropriations are covered. Commissioner comments. Michelle, lead off tonight.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Drew.
Happy Thanksgiving. I did also want to mention, I believe next Friday, the Gratiot County Players are having they're calling it a barn raising fundraiser. It's, I think, $10 a ticket to go and help them raise funds to replace their ceiling, which ceiling tiles are falling off. So that's Friday the 5th of December, I believe. And tickets are on sale now.
It's going to be kind of a review, from what I'm told, similar to what we do in the summer.
He'll fill in the details.
Go ahead, Roger.
Never mind.
I'm good. I passed to Roger.
I yield to you.
Yes.
It's just going to be fun, and at that time you will also get to vote on which play you would like to see come up for the 48 hours production. Just because we can't really put on a big major production this year with having to shut the theater down for several months to replace the ceiling in it. Instead of a major play, what we are going to do is a 48 hours production. You have your choice of 3 plays: Annie, Sound of Music, and Disney's Little Mermaid Junior, I think. You can vote for which one of those you would like to see. That you vote with dollars. The play that gets the highest donation will be done, and Lori, who is going to direct it, will not know what that is until 48 hours prior to the, what is the date of it?
May 17th?
May 17th, I think, yeah, okay. And that will be put on for one night with 48 hours preparation from here's the play. She will already kind of have a cast in mind.
So she doesn't have a cast.
Well, yeah, you kind of have to have it. But you may have, figuring on something, and all of a sudden this cast needs more kids than we have. So you're going to play a 12-year-old if you want to be in this one, so. But it will be fun. It's just, it's a concept that has been done in other theaters just for kicks. But we're going to give it a shot and just see what happens.
Sounds like fun. We'll continue on. Do you want to take your turn now, Roger?
I have nothing.
Roger, what about Thursday?
Thursday is coming along as planned. I am currently at 190 reservations. I was hoping for 200, and that's pretty close.
For those that might not know what
This
you're
is the
talking about.
First Presbyterian Church annual Thanksgiving dinner.
That the Almond family is on number? What number are you on?
I'm not sure, 35, something like that, I think. But yeah, we're on track. We decided this year to save a little bit of money. It cost me almost $1,000 for paper goods last year to carry out and home delivered. And the original idea of this, when it started over in St. Louis at the American Legion Hall, was to come over to our house and have a Thanksgiving as a communal dinner. And it got away from that. We did 130 or 140 to-go dinners last year, and that just got expensive. So we're going back to square one. This is a come over to our house on Thanksgiving and have dinner, and I have lots of reservations for 1s and 2s and a couple for 4s and 6s and stuff, but just come on over. 35 turkeys go in the oven at 5 o'clock in the morning. 250 pounds of potatoes get peeled by the National Honor Society, and then the kids set up the room. Then we go to work on all the rest of it. I have about 35, 40 volunteers who are going to be helping me with stuff. This year, since we don't have to use paper, I did a quick inventory, and First Presbyterian Church has enough china to do it, so we're going to do the whole thing with china.
Awesome.
So it'll be kind of neat, kind of classy this year, so.
Good.
We're on track.
And people need to register ahead of time?
Registrations are officially closed as of 2 hours ago, but if you've got somebody who needs to have them call me, I don't want to turn anybody away, but I don't have to, so.
Very kind of you. Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Roxanne?
Roger. Congratulations to Kathy. We know she's fabulous. It's nice to be recognized by others. And I hope everyone has something to be thankful for this Thanksgiving. That's all.
Danny?
Just a special thanks to everyone from the city that came out for the Studio 9 ribbon cutting the other day. My wife was very pleased. Ms. Dancer did a great job with the setup, and like I said, we were pretty pleased with the turnout. So we've got 2 estheticians upstairs now in Studio 9, and I think they're adding one more, but it's my wife's deal. I just am there to support. So, but thanks for Eric and everyone that showed up. So thank you.
Very good. Sarah?
No.
Eric? Anything good?
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, and thanks to all the staff this year, and we're almost to the end. And to those folks that are out there that are waiting on leaves, just checked out the schedule. There's still, folks aren't reading the whole schedule. Read the schedule, just have them at the curb, and we'll do our best to get to them before the snow, so.
Okay, thank you. And yeah, just to add additional congratulations to Kathy, who's done an outstanding job for us in St. Louis and Emerson Township for some time. Long been recognized throughout the state for her skills and her knowledge. She's just been a superstar, not just locally, but across the state. So, yeah, and join everybody else with the thanks wish for happy and safe Thanksgiving to everyone. So. Next up, entertainment. We'll entertain entertainment, which is the invitation to the public. So if there's any members of the public who want to come up and entertain us, please go to the podium, state your name and address. You have 5 minutes to share your thoughts. Nobody wants to entertain us tonight.
Casey, I think it's your turn.
I can give a quick master plan update, but.
Well, and yeah, and congratulations to you too as well, Casey. Your new role that's coming.
It'll be a few weeks, yeah.
But officially you'll be taking over as the lead president of Integration Development.
And we hired someone that's going to be starting in a couple weeks for my role, so really excited.
Which is another good, sounds like a real good find.
Yes.
So, nice job.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. Anybody else from the public want to talk? Or if we can force them into it. I'm not seeing anybody come forward, so with that, we'll entertain a motion to go into closed session. And I presume we're not going to take any action when we come out. We're not anticipating taking any action, so.
Move to go into closed session.
Support.
Motion support. Roll call vote, please.
Yes, indeed. Commissioner Holman?
Yes.
Commissioner Barrett?
Yes.
Commissioner Gibson? Oops. Vice Mayor Harrington?
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Warnick?
Yes.
Mayor Mapes?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Okay, so we will go into closed session, and you're welcome to stay if you'd like, but as I said, we're not planning to take any action when we come out, so it'll be uneventful. But if not, thanks for coming, we appreciate it.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving, be safe. So we are back in session from our executive session. Everything, our business is completed. We have a motion to adjourn from our session tonight.
Yes.
Support.
A motion support, last chance for comments or questions. I hear none. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.